Hey guys, good morning. It's Tony. Before I start the video, like always, please subscribe, like, and comment. If you want to join the Patreon, please join at patreon.com/but I'm not a trader. I think right now, this is not going to be much of a TA. It's going to be mostly based off of the 2-day trigger and seeing what's going to happen right now. But I think for right now, I'm pretty freaking bearish right now, considering a lot of things might actually go south from here, and this might actually be the top of everything. You already broke that trend, right? You already broke your major trend on SPX, and then same thing with the Nasdaq. Again, trend broke on the Nasdaq, right? Starting to really come back down. But I think the most important part here is that the 2-day is going to be closing for all the major players today, right? So Friday open, I think I think it actually closes on Tuesday, but I think this is the beginning of the drop. The Nasdaq is on its 2-day, right? The SPX 500, same thing, on its 2-day. It closes on Tuesday next week. Apple, same thing. Apple on its 2-day, right, closes on Monday. On Monday, it opens a fresh one, right? Apple's very important. You have NVIDIA as well. That's going to be closing that 2-day today, and then a fresh open on Monday. Microsoft is already on the 2-day, right? And that's basically all your major players closing a 2-day bear trigger. And, you know, for the most part, you know, it hasn't been wrong in the last forever, right? Apart from this like ridiculous rally in the beginning of the year, right? But for the most part, that 2-day is extremely reliable. So, you know, if we're topping out, I think this is going to be the first candle, the first bear candle on this top before coming right back down. You have so many gaps to fill. I'm not saying we're going to come down to like a 345 QQQ or similar on the SPY, right? I don't know if we'll come back down to like 415, 410. I think that's, you know, that seems unrealistic right now. But I think what's going to happen is that, you know, I'm definitely looking at like a 436, 433 on SPY, 431 lowest, right? You do have multiple gaps here, right? You have a gap at 423 on SPY. Pretty sure there's another gap down lower at like 410, right? Somewhere down here is another gap. So, you know, depending on how we close in the next couple of days, you know, it really depends. But, you know, the dollar's coming back down pretty hard today, right? Dollar's coming back down really hard. But the VIX right now definitely starting to sell off again, right? Filling that gap right here. It might break these lows here, I'm not really sure. But for right now, you know, I'm definitely looking at starting some pretty heavy shorts to the low side. You know, we'll see what happens right now. You have a nice little trend here on SPX, right? So let's do this. Whew. Sorry, I'm about to run, so we'll see where this goes, right? So if you do break this towards the upside, you know, I can definitely see us going back to like a 456, in which case, you know, I'll take the long. But as of right now, you know, it is looking more and more like this is the topping out of the SPX, the Nasdaq, Apple, you know, everything else. And I think Apple's actually going to start coming down. And oh, we actually had a nice little pop there on Apple, so we'll see. You know, I need another 5-minute trigger to close out right here, right? So this can probably jump back down to like or go back up, fill that 191 gap. You know, I definitely would not be against taking this towards the upside right now in about 10 minutes when this closes, right? The last time we had a perfect entry on Apple, it was at 8:30 in the morning, and you essentially not ran all day, but you just slowly bled up all day, right? Lex previous right there, right? Same thing, right? Last close, same thing, traded sideways on Apple. Here, we popped from 182 to 184, so a $2 pop. Here, you went from a close of 182 up to that same day, like highs of 183. So I can definitely see another $1 or $2 move today on Apple after this closes. So 189, 190, 190, 191, yeah, so I can see this gap being filled today, but for the most part, that 2-day is already pretty telling of what's going to happen. Apple's going to close that today. SPX and NASDAQ are closing that on Tuesday, right? Tuesday is when I said they were going to close it. But, you know, I think this is the top. I think this is the beginning of the drop. You know, you're starting to see those really weak candles to the low side. And the bias for today is down because we're on that 4-hour bear trigger, right? So, again, trailing sideways. But, you know, I think for today, I think the full move is just going to be down. I would not be surprised to see 453 today on SPX if you break these lows here, right? A full move down here. And then this should start the drop back down to like I said, like a 435, 430 something, just to fill gaps and just to go to those order blocks. But that 2-day, again, extremely telling of what's about to happen. And again, you've been doing the same thing since August or July earlier this year, which led to huge drops. Again, same thing here, right? It's not 100% perfect, but it gives you a really good idea of, you know, when to start shorting, right? So right now, even like back in a year ago, so right now I don't think it's a good idea to long. I think right now it's a really good time to start accumulating shorts. Look at that drop right there, right? You essentially retested and now you're really starting to fall down there. So yeah, I definitely think we're topping out, and we're definitely headed back now after that closes, after that 2-day closes to, you know, I'm definitely eyeing that 435, 440-ish range on SPX, somewhere around that range. So we'll see. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.